I'd rather y'all even think that I don't even have a kid anymore. I'd rather y'all think that me and Hallie is not even together no more. I don't want no type of opinions from anybody anymore. So I'm ending the family content. I'm ending the relationship content. I just want my channel to be just about me. If you don't want to just watch me, then don't watch me.
Yes, yes, yes. Finally, DDG standing up to the haters. Standing up to the haters. I'm always telling people, keep your family private. As a man, you keep your family private. You don't even put pictures of your family in your wallet. You keep your family private. You let the females walk around and they got pictures and they showing all they friends and they family. Oh, this is us at the park. Oh, this is us and Johnny at the zoo. Oh, this is when they first got their first bite of cake. They're walking around and telling all the strangers. They're showing pictures of how their kids look. They're showing pictures of this and that. And you let them do that. You let them do that if that's what you allow. But for the general public, you keep your family private. Your family is your family. You create your family, that is your own entity. They stay in one box. Your friends are in another box. Your external family are in another box. Unless there's something they could do for your family. If they can't do anything for your family, you keep them away. You keep them away. I would argue to say the most destructive thing that could manipulate your kids, that could have your kids act in a different way, opposite from the way you raised them, is external factors. For example, let's say you have a son, and your son always like to sleep at his homie's house. Your son is about, let's say, between 10 to 12, 13. But the friend's house that he sleep at, he's a little bit of you know, the rainbow crew. Now, they sleeping together now. They're showing each other. The friend is showing your son certain things that you don't want your son to even learn. That is factors that could affect your family. External factors. You don't have any rainbow situation going on in your household. But if you allow your kids to constantly stay in somebody else's household, they could learn that culture that you may not believe in. Another example, let's say you have a daughter and you raise your daughter a certain type of way. She read her books on the weekend. She really don't go out too much. She kind of much knows the rules to social media, and daddy don't allow her to be on TikTok and all that stuff during the week, but daddy may give her like a little breathing room on a Saturday, after she finished up some, Saturday chores, which include mental chores and physical chores. Now you allow your daughter to hang around this girl, or maybe a cousin, and in that household, they walking around naked. They eating all what they eat. The house is dirty. The mother probably work, online. So she in a room, locked in a room. Every once in a while they peep in. She's on a computer doing some type of sex act online. And now you have your daughter there learning another culture, another bad habit that you don't allow in your household. But because you allow your family to be public, it affects you also. So congratulations to DDG for finally being real and being a real man. Keep your family private.
Do that on Easter. The Bible was very in your face.
Pastor Greg Locke with Global Vision Bible Church says he feels targeted. Sunday morning, he recounts surveillance footage showing a trailer full of Bibles. He estimates roughly 200 being driven to the intersection in front of his church, doused with gasoline and lit on fire. His security team would not share the video with us, saying they didn't want to compromise the investigation.
I think they knew that we were going to have an extra barrage of people that were going to be here visiting from all over the country, and so, it blocked the main entrance to the church. And so it was unfortunate. We get a lot of pushback. We get a lot of hate for some of our religious and political stands, but to see, the Bible disrespected that way was a little unfortunate.
And perhaps not just disrespect. The Wilson County Sheriff's Office tells News 2 they're looking into whether this was a hate crime. That will depend on if they find that this was a, quote, bias-motivated act. News 2 asked Pastor Locke about alleged book burnings at the church, including Harry Potter books, and if he thinks that could have played a...
The lesson to this video is not only proves that racism does exist, but it also proves that racism is also very relevant. But my theory behind racism is if you let racism affect you, you will be affected by racism. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you walk around and you're constantly thinking that everything that happens to you or everybody that looks at you that's not your skin color or hair texture is racist, you are the problem. Even though all those situations that I just named, you 100% was in a racist situation, right? But you don't let it affect you. Racism is never going anywhere. So why let it affect you? Racism is like the weather. It's like rain. Oh, we hate rainy days, right? It makes us sleepy. We go outside in our new clothes. They get wet. It messes up a sunny day. You may have wanted to go picnic or go hiking and it start raining. It's something that is never going anywhere, right? It's rain. We need it. The plants need it. We need hydration. Racism is also the same like rain. It's never going anywhere. It's here to hydrate the masses. All you can do, the same way we do with rain, We get buckets and we collect it, and we say, you know what? Let's use it to farm. We take more water, we collect it, we say, you know what? We're going to use this to make all our products. We're going to use it for water. We're going to use it for medication. We're going to break it down in a chemical form. Oxygen, hydrogen, and we're going to use it to make more products. Medical products, beauty products, products all over the world. You think water is only here for drinking? No, there's more to it. There's way more to it than that. You should know that. But like I said, racism is hydrating the world. It's never going anywhere. Learn to adapt and use it to benefit you.
About Dominicans, I think you should do your homework before you talk about Dominicans. I see in a video that you talk about that we deporting people because they're black, and Mexico's deporting a lot of Haitians. So it's not about race. You don't know our history. You don't know our genetics, because we Dominican, we are a special race. We have Taino on our blood. We have European on our blood when they came on 1492. You should know that before you talk about our race. You were talking about this girl that she says she's not black, and she was right. She's not black. She's Dominican. If you ask me who I am, I'm gonna tell you I'm Dominican. If you ask me, are you white? I'm gonna tell you, no, I'm not. Even though I am white.
First thing you said is, we Dominicans, we're a special race. Dominican is not a race. Dominican is a nationality. You said Dominicans are a special race because we're mixed with different races. I got newsflash for you. Every people in the Americas is mixed with all of these three races. All of us. So there's nothing special about you or Dominicans at all. You are just a product of colonization as well as ethnic cleansing like the rest of us, sir. Okay? That was a mistake right there. No such thing as Dominicans as a special race. What makes you special? That you mix with all these races? We all are. And the reasons for being mixed with all these races, it's not a good reason. It's nothing to romanticize. It's nothing to say, oh my God, you are a product of grape, is what you are. Now, addressing the video about the young lady who is Dominican who said, I'm not African descent, I'm Hispanic. I speak Spanish. She is phenotypically African descent, black. You cannot tell the difference between her and a black American. The only time you'll even tell the difference is when she opens her mouth and speaks Spanish. Is he black?
If I go by his color, I would say he's black.
Are there people that look just like him that are Dominican?
Yes, a bunch.
Okay, cool. When the word black is being used, it means African descent. So now black people hear Dominicans say, I'm not black, I speak Spanish. What the hell does the language that you speak have to do with?
But hold on. I explained to you that we are mixed. Like you trying to say they all come from Africa. Even if his color is black, he could feel European.
There's no way I could ever assimilate into whiteness, even though I got 15% Irish.
Even if the color of your skin is black and you say you have a European, how you identify more as a European or as a black American?
As a black person. This very superficial color of skin dictates a lot in this country. But I would imagine the black people that look like me in the Dominican Republic probably make a lower income and have lower access too.
No,
okay, so I
thank you.
have a question for you. Of all of the presidents of the Dominican Republic, have a majority of them look like me with my color?
No, we had one candidate, but
okay. That's all I'm asking. If you look at all of the big companies in the Dominican Republic, are a majority of them, the CEOs look like me?
Not really. We have a bunch of black CEOs.
But do you see how I can make those assumptions?
You're making the color of his skin as an excuse. I used to live in Harlem, so I have a lot of black friends there. And let me tell you something. They will stay home smoking pot. So if you get the opportunity and you get the chance and the government is paying you a loan so you could go to school, why they don't go to school? I mean, you cannot keep feeling as a victim when you have a chance to grow, to become better. Don't tell me the Spanish are going to come from Dominican and go over there, not even speaking English, and they're going to progress. They're going to buy a bodega. And you, American, who speak English and who have all the chances on the world, you can make it.
You ask me, Mexico is deporting Haitians. Are they racist?
Yes, I asked you that.
I'll answer it for you. The answer is yes. Let me prove it to you. Mexico has systemically made the effort to bring in Europeans. They brought in Europeans by the boatloads because they wanted to whiten Mexico. For the same reason why in Dominican Republic, Trujillo wiped out how many black people from Dominican Republic? And for that same reason, because these colonized countries in Latin America are trying to whiten the countries.
He's absolutely right. Many Latin countries are trying to whiten their country. Even when you look at the news of a lot of these Latin countries, you'll see more of their white European counterparts. White looking, that don't mean that they are white. A lot of people don't understand is that a lot of Latin America, all the beautiful people that came from Latin America, was formulated through slavery. Millions and millions and millions of slaves mixed with, I'm sure, beautiful Europeans too. Everybody's beautiful in their own way. And they mixed and they created a whole different mixed group of people. Just because you are on an island and the island is named after your group of people, that don't mean that you are now a race. The origins of race goes back hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years. You just can't have a mixed baby in 1600 or 1700, the first mixed baby in 1400 in Brazil, and then say, oh yeah, we're a race now. It doesn't work like that. Race is something that has been formulated for hundreds and thousands of years, millions of years. That's how race is formulated. African descent, Asian descent, Indian descent, Aborigine descent. The only real true race over here was the native Indians, which was in all continents, Americas, all the Americas. All the Americas had native Indians, Tainos. Many hundreds and hundreds of Tainos was killed off in Puerto Rico, in Dominican Republic. Many of them was killed off. So a lot of that DNA that you see that's still present, a lot of it is diluted African DNA. Because the ancestors was so long time ago, that real origin, the strong origin DNA. If you would have tested a Dominican or Puerto Rican hundreds of years ago, they will probably have 60% African in them, 40% African in them. If you test most Puerto Ricans now, they'll probably have 10%, 15%, 20%. That's because it's been diluted. Your ancestors were so long ago, especially within your family. If you never mated or had a recent African, like a real blooded African person injected into your family, after the original slaves injected blood into your family, the blood gets diluted over the time. It goes from 90%, 80%, 20%, 30%, 10%. It gets diluted because now your family's mixing with other people who's mixed, or maybe mixing with other families that have a lot of European blood in them. The more European Hispanic blood in them. So no, this guy's 100% right. There is no race that's called Dominican Republic, or no race that's called Puerto Ricans. Those are not races.
I remember when he died, people spoke about how he wasn't black. I tell you, yo, black and brown people, we lost, man. We lost. Don't y'all know black comes in all different forms? There's different type of black people. Ethereum, Ethiopian. I mean, this we just talk about the Ethereum and the Ethiopia. Like different type of black people. There's different type of facial structures. Even Nigeria, the Nigerian man is different from the Uganda man. The Uganda man is facial structure is different from the Somalian man. The Somalian man facial structure is different from the man from Kenya. Just different forms of black people. We think all black people are, you gotta be crispy with nappy hair to be, oh yeah, he's black. You gotta be light brown with nappy hair. Oh yeah, he's real black. He's a real black person. It's not true. Black folks, same like Hispanic folks, come in all complexions. From black to the light, to the lightest of the light. From the most nappiest hair to the most straightest hair. Black and Hispanic people come in all colors, all hair textures. Y'all don't know that? Come on. Where y'all living? Under a rock? Black people just don't speak Ebonics. Sometimes I hear ignorance, like even when there's a black girl that's dark skinned, she'll talk about another black girl that's dark skinned that look just like her and be like, oh, she ain't black. She speak too proper. What? Black people just don't speak Ebonics. Black people speak all different languages. Black people speak Spanish. Come on. Y'all never been to Panama? You come off the plane, all you're gonna see is black people. Y'all don't know Dominicans? The first place that slaves was bought and sold was Santo Domingo. That's the first place in this hemisphere where slaves was bought and sold. That's why you go to Dominican Republic, you see them from the lightest of the light to the darkest of the dark. The closer you get to Santo Domingo, the darker the people get. Curly hair, straight hair, nappy hair. Come on, y'all never been to Costa Rica? The cousin that's from Costa Rica. Never been to Colombia? Colombia got a whole population of dark-skinned people. They live right off, most of them live off of an island right off of Colombia. They speak nothing but Spanish. They look like an island of goddamn Africans. But they're Colombian. Never been to Brazil? Come on. When the Portuguese brought the slaves to this land that they called Brazil, and they started having all these beautiful babies, they created a whole new race. They didn't even know what to call them. You know what they said? You know what? We named this place that we conquered Brazil after we slaughtered a lot of the natives here. Why don't we call them Brazilians? Portuguese are from Europe. Brazilians are a mixed race of people. They're African slaves and Portuguese mixed together. Dominicans are African slaves and the Spaniards mixed together. You can't be Dominican and don't recognize your African ancestors. The same way you can't be Dominican and not recognize your European ancestors. But when it comes down to it, they all black. They all black. It's the dominant gene. You don't know that? I remember when he died, people spoke about how he wasn't black. I tell you, yo, black and brown people, we lost, man. We lost. Don't y'all know black comes in all different forms? There's different type of black people. Ethereum, Ethiopian. I mean, we just talk about the Ethereum and the Ethiopia. Like different type of black people. There's different type of facial structures. Even